Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, people from all over the place. Hello. Um, so today we're having a very unique, first of its kind session, to be honest. And mashallah, both presenters are quite amazing in my personal opinion. Um, right. So, mashallah, tabarakallah, we're having two presenters in this session, in this workshop titled, sorry, um, excuse me, Editing Your Thesis for Final Submission, Student and Supervisor's Perspectives. And this is exactly what's going to happen here. We're going to hear from both the students and the supervisor regarding this idea. So, allow me to introduce the presenters. We have uh, the presentation is going to start with Dr. Suha Alansari. Dr. Suha Alansari is an assistant professor at the English Language Institute at King Abdulaziz University here in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. She was awarded a PhD in applied linguistics and English language teaching from the University of Warwick in the United Kingdom. Dr. Ansari, her research interests include critical discourse analysis, semiotics, and the multimodality, textbooks research, gender and language and identity. She is a published scholar, mashallah, tabarakallah, who has presented her research in local and international conferences. She supervised several MA dissertations, including the one, I believe, of Miss Samia, which brings us to her. Miss Samia Bahamid is an English language teacher holding an MA in TESOL. As a teacher, she strives to foster positive change and adapt to the unexpected in her teaching practice. She is dedicated to supporting the ongoing professional growth of both teachers and learners. Without any further ado, the mic is yours, Dr. Soha.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Dua, for the introduction. Yes, as Dua mentioned, the workshop today will be delivered by two presenters, and just heads up, so it's like not your typical kind of workshop where only one presenter probably share a few academic formal information, and audience later on probably would have the time to interact. We'll share the time, I and Ms. Samia. I'll take the first 20 minutes, and then Samia will take over. And towards the end, we'll leave some time for questions from the audience. So, yes. And we'll try to make it conversational. So during the presentation, during the workshop, I'll share questions with Samia. Samia will, please feel free, Samia, to jump in and make comments wherever you feel you can come in.
For sure, Doctor.
Yes. So, Samia, I had the pleasure of supervising Samia's dissertation. Samia graduated this semester, but not only did she graduate with no correction, but she also graduated with flying colors. She actually was awarded the best paper at the annual الملتقى العلمي for King Abdulaziz University postgraduate students. Given that successful experience, we thought to put together this workshop to share what we did together and probably experienced by so many both students, MA students, and supervisors. So in my part, I'll tackle 3 points. I'll focus on macro editing skills, and the second part, I'll discuss a few points regarding micro editing skills, and then we'll end with some thoughts on supervisors' role in the final editing process and the importance of communication between the supervisor and students around feedback and revision. So just a reminder before starting off of the stages in completing a thesis. A thesis, as most of you know, starts with developing a research idea that could be based on the researcher interest or need in the working place, or probably the combination of both. Writing a research proposal and finding a supervisor, then kicking off the process, doing the research after designing, of course, research, like developing a research design, doing the research, completing the research, and then writing the report, writing up the manuscript. Many people would think having a complete draft is the end of the process, and probably many students would think that they are almost ready to defend their thesis, and that's unfortunately not the case. Editing is as important as writing up the manuscript. Now, doing the research itself, writing up the first draft, would probably guarantee, if that was like a good research, that would guarantee that you get the degree. But passing the defense with probably minor correction or no correction would rely a lot on the editing process, on editing the manuscript and getting it ready for the readers, for the examiners. So in today's workshop, the focus will be on the editing process that eventually, naturally, in many scenarios, it takes time. Probably not as much time as writing up the manuscript, but it does take a tremendous amount of time. And that's just a heads up for anyone working on their thesis right now, is to allocate some time for this process. Okay, so what do you mean really by editing the manuscript, editing thesis? I'd like to draw your attention to a few points. First of all, going back to the title, probably you can see rounds written in red. So it's not like a one-time kind of process. Editing takes time, and it is usually done in rounds. So one round of editing is not enough. Multiple rounds usually required. Even if English is your native language, you still need to go back to the manuscript and pay attention to a few aspects regarding the language, the organization, and the structure of the manuscript. So apart from being done in rounds, it's also done from different perspective, from the macro scale perspective and the micro scale perspective. And what do I mean by this? By macro is the big picture perspective, where you look at the structure, you look at the structure of the individual chapters as well as how chapters are put together, making sure you've got all the components required in your manuscript. And from there, moving towards editing the chapters, editing smaller construction, the paragraphs, and then looking at the sentence, line editing, and then you ending it with looking in proofreading, that is looking at words. So combining the two perspectives is important, because you're not only looking at words, but you're also looking at the structure, looking at the big picture. So editing is not like one kind of job. There are so many types of editing. There's revision, where you step back and look at the whole text. And in the revision process, you might want to probably add extra pieces, extra paragraphs, or delete some. Or sometimes you might find some paragraphs are probably misplaced now. Now the manuscript is complete. So you might want to move it around to a different place, or even recast it in different light. Structural edit, where you look at the chapters, whether they have all the components required, and how do they develop the argument, and how chapters are connected together in the fabric of the whole thesis. Copy editing is where you look at paragraphs and probably sentences, making sure that the paragraphs are refined, communicate a central idea, contribute well to the argument you're making, and well placed. And the final, really final stage is checking the words. So where you probably look at the spelling, punctuation, and mechanical issues. So if we want to map out those types on the macro-micro scale of editing, we can say that revision and structural edit belong to the macro scale. Macro level, micro would be more about working with paragraphs and proofreading. So what do we do in the macro level of editing? Revisioning and revising. As I said earlier, it might include adding text, new text, or deleting, replacing a text. It might also involve re-seeing the whole manuscript, the whole argument from a fresh critical perspective. So it's just stepping back and seeing your work in different light, probably thinking, rethinking, making some changes, changing the focus, probably structure of the chapters. And checking the overall structure. Probably you might want to ask, do I have all the required components of the thesis? Do I have all the required chapters? Do I have the other bits and pieces that should be put that usually come at the beginning of the manuscript, or towards the end of the manuscript? Do I have all the do my chapters have all the essential subcomponents? Does each chapter include a clear introduction and conclusion paragraphs? Did I follow the departmental formatting guidelines regarding margin, font size, style, spacing, tables, figures, and citation? This is the stage where you check all of that. Here I'm sharing the thesis components. Probably I don't have much time to go all over them, but you can see there should be a chapter, an introduction, and within introduction you need to include bits and pieces about background, context of the study, problem statement. And the thing is, when you start writing up your manuscript, you probably focus on some subcomponents and not really contributing or writing much about other components. So this is the stage where you go and check the outline of the thesis and make sure that you have all the components. And it's never too late. You still have that time during the editing process to include whatever missing in your manuscript in order to get it ready for submission. Preparing your referencing list, appendices, really come towards the end of completing your thesis. Moving from that to the micro level, it's about reading again, reading in rounds, reading with one purpose in mind at a time. Now, having checked the chapters, having checked the components and subcomponents of the chapters, probably you want to pay attention to the paragraphs. What to look in the paragraphs. You want to check basics are golden. We want to check the basics of writing a paragraph, really. Having a topic sentence for each paragraph really helps towards building the argument and connecting arguments, connecting pieces together towards strengthening your argument in your thesis. So making sure that every paragraph has a topic sentence. Sometimes you have the idea in your mind, but it's not out there. So starting the paragraph with a topic sentence really helps signals what you want to communicate in that paragraph. Making sure that every sentence has a subject and verb, and this is key. And really everyone misses on that level. So take your time during the editing process, making sure that every sentence really has a subject and a verb. So that can be done like in probably 2 readings of the whole manuscript at least. And then you want to read again for consistency. And you want to make sure that your use of terminology and abbreviation is consistent throughout. And this can be done easily if you do use the search box in your Word document. Search for the words. Make sure that every time you use the word, you use it with the same spelling. If there's like, for instance, like a capital letter, you always use the capital letter whenever you use that terminology. If it comes with an apostrophe, make sure it's there every time you use that terminology or abbreviation. And for abbreviation, first time you want to use it in full, and then afterwards, first time you introduce it, like while using the name in full, and then it's okay to use the abbreviated word. Tense use. And your thesis can be written either in simple present or simple past, and you want to check with your supervisor which one is preferred in your case. But throughout, once you select a tense, then make sure that all sentences are written in that tense. And then another reading for redundancy. And by redundancy, we mean repetition. And repetition can happen at a conceptual level and at a language level. So conceptual level, you don't want to repeat the same idea over and over again unless it's really beneficial. You can paraphrase, you can link it differently, you can recast it differently, but try not to repeat the same idea over and over again. Building an argument does not happen by repetition. it happens by progression. And I'll talk about this in a minute. Redundancy sometimes happens with using the same sentences. So you use the same format of the sentence, same sentence, you repeat it probably on page 5 and then later on page 15. If you need to, well, use that idea, then try to paraphrase in order to avoid redundancy. And then comes relevance. You want to read for relevance. And by this I mean, you want to make sure every argument you make is somehow connected to the focus of your thesis, to your research question, to the aim of your study. And sometimes you need to spell it out. You write, how is that related in one way or another? So it's important. You want to make sure that every paragraph included, every paragraph included in your manuscript is relevant and helpful in moving your argument forward. The thing is, in the early stages of writing, writing a research paper, or thesis, you probably focus on the width. So you probably read a lot, write a lot about aspect you thought probably relevant, but towards the end of your thesis, probably you want to rethink the relevance of some paragraphs and see if they do genuinely help with your argument or not. Okay, I have to speed up.
May I add something here, Doctor?
Yeah, of course.
When it comes to redundancy, it's not only about repeating same sentences, but also repeating same ideas within different wording. It happened a lot with me, and I had just with reading, I discovered that.
Yes, reading helps. Thank you so much for that. Yes, so redundancy is not only at the language level, but also at the ideas level, conceptual level. So thank you so much for that, mentioning that. Here are like some example edits that targets paragraphs and sentences. You want to clarify your argument by explaining how the paragraph is linked to the research question or linked to the claim you made earlier. You want to improve the argument structure by reorganizing. Sometimes you lay out the argument like over, let's say, 3 paragraphs. But later on when you read it, you think, probably paragraph 3 should go 1 instead of 3, and that would make things clearer, and that would make the argument clear. So don't be afraid of moving things around. If it improves the argument, improve the reading of the argument, do it. Adding evidence, making claim along the way, like in writing thesis, you make lots of claims. If it's not in the finding chapter, you want to include citation or evidence. If it's in the finding chapter, you want to include data or samples from your data. Okay, what else? Yeah, breaking complex idea into smaller sentences help sharpen the argument. Okay, and now finally, I'll speak a bit about supervisor's role. So there are ethical boundaries to what a supervisor can do to help you editing your thesis. It's not the supervisor's job to rewrite things for you, but definitely they will point out areas where it needs improvement. There will be time, and of course, like a supervisor will be happy to read again the revised, revised document after you made all the changes required. Track changes, providing feedback through track changes in Word. So you can see, so the student can see what was the original sentence and what are the suggested changes. And I like using track changes a lot. And it's not only like, because like when us as supervisors, when we try to edit or help the student with the editing the manuscript, we're also teaching and pointing out general, I don't want to say mistakes, but general tendency that could be improved. So, and also giving the student the freedom, the independence of making the changes, seeing the changes, understanding the changes, and then acting agentively in the sense that they take control of what changes they want to see in their manuscript. Managing expectation timeline, probably that's something you want to discuss with the supervisor. And it's always important to talk and start communicating orally after receiving feedbacks. Probably there are issues that probably you didn't grasp, or comments that you didn't understand, or things that you think comments that you think probably too hard to change, or you don't really know how to navigate your way around the comments. So it's always good to have this open dialogue with your supervisor. And it's not only about the feedback, about also the emotional toll of receiving feedback. And I believe Ms. Samia will talk more about that. So that's the end of my part. I'll give the floor to Ms. Samia now.
Thank you, Dr. Suha, for this informative session. And I would like to start by saying hello to everyone. Thank you, first of all, to Ms. Dua for the introduction. I'm very grateful that you are here today. And just give me a second because I'm going to share my slides before I start. So, as you followed Dr. Suha, she focused on what should be on the pages. In my part of the session, I'm going to talk about what's behind the pages, and this is my personal experience about writing my own thesis. In this part of the session, I'm going to take you through the expectations that I had as a student, the challenges I faced, and also the set of skills that I developed along the way. My goal here is simple, is to make your thesis writing journeys easier by sharing what I learned from mine. I would just want to say there is a quick disclaimer. This is about my personal experience. It's about my expectations, what happened during my thesis writing, the challenges I faced, and how I dealt with the unexpected. I'm not going to talk about the steps to draft your own chapters, submission procedure, or passing thesis defense. That being said, I'm going to or allow me to start with maybe answering the question that you have. Why is this session, why I'm here today? Allow me to start with a small talk, a short one, by Gina Greenlee. And it says that experience is a master teacher, even when it's not our own. So basically, this quote captures the essence and the purpose of my part of the presentation, which is you don't have to go every struggle by yourself. Sometimes listening to other people's experience can save you a lot of time, stress, and confusion. So everyone, we start every journey that we have in life, whether writing your thesis, any project you're about to start, with set of expectations that help us go through and allow us to just exert our best efforts to achieve whatever we want to do. While writing my thesis, I had, and I believe many of the students at this same phase, we had a set of false expectations. And probably the biggest and first one is that you need only one draft. We come writing our thesis thinking that, okay, I can have the perfect first draft if I paid a lot of attention. I'm so sorry. I'm here to tell you that writing doesn't work this way. First draft is only, or the first draft of your writing is only the first step. You are going to need a lot of revisions. You are going to need to do a lot of work after finishing writing your first draft. Okay, you believe, this is another belief that you will have, and I'm so sorry, it's a false one. You believe you will provide at first coherent arguments. I'm so sorry, this is not the case. Your arguments might be good, but they will develop whenever you are revising, whenever you are editing, whenever you are rereading your thesis. Another false expectations that I had, and I believe most of you have, is about motivation. We come writing our thesis, starting writing, believing that we will be motivated 100% of the time. I'm so sorry to tell you that motivation will come and go. And this happened with me personally. And another false expectation about motivation is that it should be external. We should rely on our environment. We should rely on our department and our supervisor, maybe our families, to motivate us. But actually, most of the motivation comes within yourself. It's internal one. You should be the one who motivates yourself. And whenever you lose that motivation, whenever you find yourself demotivated, and I'm so sorry to tell you, it will happen a lot, just note that it's not going to be easily restored. So whenever you should find motivation wherever you find it. Maybe in doing something unusual, maybe when talking to a friend, maybe if you read a book or a novel. You have to seek motivation wherever it presents itself. This is my advice for you. Another false expectation that we have, and I believe Dr. Suha talked about this, is about supervision. We as students believe we will have an extensive supervision. We will have step-by-step supervision. We don't have to ask for supervision. We will receive it whether we ask for it or not. This is not the case. Supervision and your supervisor is here to direct you to the right way. They are not going to give you step-by-step or detailed instructions on what you should do. So you have to supervise yourself first, then you can rely on your supervisor to direct you to the correct direction. Other false expectation that many students have during the thesis writing phase is about time. We believe time is in our side. We believe we will be having flexible time frame, and writing is an easy task. And I'm so sorry, again, this is not the case. Writing is not an easy task, and nor it's a quick one. You have to allocate an adequate time for yourself to write, to revise, and to edit. You have to wisely divide your timeline according to your needs. Maybe you need a lot of time to edit more than write. Maybe you need more time to write than edit. So it depends to your needs. You have to divide your timeline accordingly. Another false expectation we have revolving around revision. We believe that revision is only about proofreading, and this is what Dr. Suha talked about. No, revision is not only about proofreading. You have to consider reorganizing your paragraphs, reorganizing your chapters. You have to consider improving your ideas while you are revising. Also, you have to consider the readability of the thesis itself. You have to ask yourself, is your thesis reader-friendly or not? Is the reader going to be engaged while reading your thesis? Did you present your ideas clearly? No confusion? Okay, if that checks, okay, you are on the right track. If not, you have to consider this. Also, you have to consider the layout of your own thesis. In this, I mean using visual graphs. Are you going to use headings and subheadings? Are you using too many headings and subheadings? Are you losing your reader while you are dividing your thesis? All of this happens during the revision. As Dr. Suha said, It's a process and it takes time and it happens in rounds. The last false expectation that we have as students is about feedback. Majority of us believe that feedback is optional. We believe we can finish our draft. We don't need to get feedback at every stage of the writing process. We will just have it at the end and we will fix whatever need to be fixed. This is not the case. It's better to have feedback, and this is my personal advice for you. Have feedback at the early stages of your own thesis writing. You don't want to build your whole thesis on an argument, strategy, or maybe a theory that is incorrect, that can be replaced or can be improved with another one. So please have feedback, ask for feedback from your supervisor. It's not going to be detailed one. It will be, yes, you are on the right track. No, you are not. You got the correct names. You missed some of the leading figures of the field. Ask for feedback at the early stages of your own thesis. These are the expectations that I had as a student, and I believe most of you share these expectations with me. Then we will move on to the second thing that I'm going to talk about, which is challenges. Talking about challenges, even if you are well prepared and well planned, you will face many challenges. Some of these challenges are expected, others are not. Whether they are expected or not, they are normal part of any process that you are going through, of any journey. And one of the most important challenges that many students face is the imposter syndrome. I believe you are familiar with this. In short, imposter syndrome is a situation when successful and capable individuals still feel like they are fraud. They doubt their own abilities. They fear that they will be exposed as incompetent. You will question yourself, what I'm doing here? Why did I join this program? Why I'm writing this thesis? It takes a lot of time. I'm not prepared. I cannot do it. This is a normal part. Don't panic. If you feel this, or you will feel it in the future, it's okay. Just take a deep breath and remember this is a normal part of learning and growing. As I said, imposter syndrome is about feeling incompetent. So there are different types of the imposter syndrome. We have the perfectionist, and this applies to me personally, and I believe Dr. Suha agrees. We always look for things to go perfectly. Whenever we have an error, we consider it a failure. We also have the superhero who believe they can assume every possible role there is. They want to be the supervisor, they want to be the student, they want to be the examiner, they want to play all the roles. We also have the expert who believe they know everything about everything, and whenever they face something that they don't have knowledge about, they believe ashamed, or they feel ashamed, and they believe they are incompetent. We also have the natural genius. They believe, or they expect, they can meet high goals quickly and without any effort, or with the minimum effort. When things get difficult for them, they feel very ashamed. And finally, we have soloist. From the title, or from the name of the type, they will do everything by themselves. They don't need help. They don't ask for help. And whenever they find themselves asking for help, they feel that they are failure. So before I continue, I would like to play a quick game with you. And this game is based on the types of the imposter syndrome. Allow me to present you with two different scenarios. Each scenario will represent one of the imposter syndrome types. I will just give you 30 minutes to look at them quickly. Once you look at them and remember them, I'm going to present the two scenarios, and you have to use the chat box to tell me which scenario, or the scenario applies or represent which type of these imposter syndrome types. Okay? If you are ready, just please type okay in the chat so I know you are following me. Okay. Okay, perfect. Let's go. Okay, so this is the first scenario, and I believe you are familiar with the game Among Us. It's the same concept. There is an imposter, and you have to figure out which imposter is this. So imagine you finish your chapter and your supervisor says, "Good job. Just a few small changes." And instead of feeling proud, your first thought is, "I cannot believe I missed things. I should have done better." Which one is this? Okay, I see some of you got it right. Okay. Okay, it's the perfectionist. I believe majority of us at a postgraduate stage, we resonate with this one. Even if we are done with our postgraduate studies, even if we are doctors, professors, sometimes we feel this. We feel that something needs to be elevated within us. So perfectionist. Let's go to the other one. Okay. Picture your friend offering help, maybe to proofread or share resources. Your immediate reaction is, no, 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 it's fine. I will figure it out myself. Which one is this? Okay. Okay, the soloist, yes. You are all on the right track. So it's a normal part to feel that you are an imposter. You just need to accept it. You need just to shake it out of your head and just carry on with your task. Okay, let's go back to our challenges. And in this challenge, I'm going to talk about something very important. And this is, you need to pay attention to this. You need to, this is one of the problems or the challenges that many of us as students at the thesis writing, we face, which is differentiating between feedback and criticism. Whenever you receive feedback from your supervisor, I know you did a great job in writing your draft, in developing your arguments. I believe, I know you did a great job, and there is nothing wrong with the job you did. But you will receive feedback from your supervisor because she wants or he wants to elevate the quality of your work. This is not a personal attack on your personality, okay? You have to differentiate between the two. So my advice for you, whenever you get feedback, don't take it personally. Don't feel offended. Just remember, this is to help you elevate the quality of your feedback. So there are 4 steps just to accept the feedback. First, don't take it personally. Remember, it's not an attack on you nor your work. It's just an opportunity to elevate its quality. Another thing is listen and ask questions. Ask the supervisor or the one who provided the feedback. Okay, what do you mean by this? Did I miss something? How does your feedback will help me improve? Ask questions. You are allowed to ask questions. And also take time to process. Don't immediately answer. Whenever you get the feedback, as they say, sleep on it. Okay? Just make sure all the negative thoughts and feelings are dissolved. You don't want them because you want to think clearly. And later on, develop an action plan. Okay, you got this feedback about 1, 2, 3. Okay, for 1, I'm going to do this and this. For 2, I'm going to answer it and respond to it by doing this and so and so. And go to your supervisor with the action plan before you work on the feedback that you received. Okay, so just remember, feedback, opportunity, it's not attack on you. For the last challenge that I'm going to talk about is about workspace management. This is a challenge, and the first challenge within managing your workspace is organization. You have to have organized and tidy spaces, whether they are physical spaces or virtual. Okay, you have to be sitting in a clear space, and you have to store your files in a clear and organized way. Okay, also you have to clear your minds, your ideas. Whenever you are starting your thesis, your drafting process, you should have clear mind. You don't want scattered ideas. Scattered ideas means that you will end up with messy thesis. Also, another something about managing your workspace is consistency. Be consistent within your achievement. If you write every day, continue and be consistent in that. Even if you write one sentence, even if you write only or read one article, if you write maybe an idea or maybe an action plan, but be consistent in your achievement, do something. Also, note-taking. Be consistent in the note-taking process and methods you use for note-taking. For instance, if you are using color, using different color for interpretation and different color for observation, a color for the ideas and articles you agree with the results, another color for the ones that you disagree with. So be consistent in your note-taking methods. If you are taking notes physically using a notebook and a pen, continue using that. Don't separate your notes, okay? Have your notes all together, consistently organized in the same place. And finally, time management. As I said, you will believe time is in your side. I'm so sorry, this is not the case. You have to consider having timeline or time frame that suits your needs and obligations. I advise you to set deadlines for yourself. Even if your supervisor doesn't provide you with a deadline, set one for yourself. Allow time to revise. This is important, and we talked about it. And finally, set realistic goals for yourself. For instance, if you are writing your literature review, don't allocate only 3 days or a week. Literature review requires a lot of reading, a lot of comparing and contrasting. You are synthesizing. You are not just summarizing. You have to consider this while allocating time for your own literature review, or maybe your own discussion, maybe your own finding. Whatever chapter you need a lot of time for it, you have to consider it, okay? Now we are reaching the last part of this session, which is dealing with the unexpected. No matter how you prepared, no matter how you are planned, no matter how you are organized, things will happen. Unexpected things will happen. The most important thing is how you deal and you face these things and these challenges. There are a set of skills you need to develop, not only for your thesis writing, for any project you are involved in, or for your professional life, or even your personal life. The first two are, in my humble opinion, are the most important one: resilience and self-efficacy. Resilience is your ability to recover from any setbacks that you face. So if you are recover from the setbacks, recover from the feedback, maybe you received negative feedback that you need to rewrite a whole chapter. This is I know this is alarming and you need to do something immediately. You want to cry, you want to panic. Please don't do that. Just remember, it's not an attack on you. It's an opportunity to elevate the quality of your work. So you need to get yourself up very quickly and very efficiently. Clear your head. Do whatever you need to clear your head, to organize your thought, to eliminate any negative feelings and start again. The more you are, the more resilience you develop, the easily and efficiently you will finish your thesis writing. Self-efficacy, believing in yourself, believing in your ability. You are here for a reason, because you are competent enough, and this is the opposite. And this is how you overcome the imposter syndrome, feeling that you are a fraud, feeling that you are incompetent, by developing self-efficacy. Also, you have to employ technology. I'm not saying relying 100% on technology, on AI in this time. No, you have to be critical in using whatever websites will help you and serve your own research paper and your own thesis. I'm talking about maybe referencing, using reference sites, maybe using visual effects sites. They will create visual maps for you. They will create mind maps for you, whatever you need. Another important skill that, in my humble opinion as well, that you need to develop is trial and error. It's okay to allow yourself to commit mistakes. Try. If you face a problem, it's okay. You will face a problem, a lot of problems, not only one, during your thesis writing process. It's okay. We are here to learn. After all, we are students. And even if you are done with every possible degree there is to assume and take, you are a student of life, right? It's okay to try and error. It's okay, try. Whenever you have a problem, try to solve it. Try this, ask this. It's okay to ask for your friends' help. It's okay for you to ask for your family, for your supervisor. But at least give yourself the opportunity to try something and fail at it. Which leads me to the other important skill that you need to develop is asking for help. Whenever you are asking for help, and I put it immediately after trial and error, because there is difference between asking for help and asking for help. So ask me, Samia, what's the difference between the two? I will tell you. Imagine these two different scenarios. The first one, you're going to your supervisor saying, doctor, I face this problem. I don't know how to solve it. Help. This is asking for help. There is no shame in that. It's okay. You are allowed to ask for this. But the other scenario, you go to your supervisor and you say, doctor, I faced this problem. I tried this solution. It didn't work. I ended up with answers don't match or match my needs, match or they don't solve or help me solving whatever I want to solve with this problem. Which scenario is better in your opinion? Asking for help without doing anything or after you do your research? Of course, the second one is much better because it shows that you did your homework. You tried, you developed trial and error. It's okay. There is nothing wrong in asking, but it's better just to ask after you try. Finally, before last, we have decision making. You are the decision maker. This is your product. Yes, this is your baby. If you want to call it your baby, it's up to you. Call it whatever you call it. You are the CEO. You have the final saying in it. If you want to execute certain, let's say, decision, it's up to you. You have to develop decision making, but it's important to know that your decision making should be objective, shouldn't be subjective, shouldn't be emotional. It should be based on reason and rationale. And finally, solving problem, and this can as the result of all the other skills that you will develop, you will be able to face any other problem that you find, any challenge that you will face, whether expected or unexpected. And this is the outcome of the learning process, and any other project you will end up having problem solving. You will try, you will ask for help, you will develop your decision making. All of these will help you in solving the problems you face. With this, I come to the end of my presentation and sharing the gist of my experience. If you have any questions, I will be more than happy to answer. If you don't have a question, I have one for you. Did you come to this session having any concern in mind, hoping that this session will answer? Please share it with me. I will try my best to attend to it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Samia. I remember. Don't you think that all the students feel those like have those negative emotion after receiving feedback? Even after having my PhD, and I remember like submitting my final, my first publication after my PhD. I received a few revisions, like my paper was accepted, but still I felt ashamed, so much shame that my paper came back with revisions that like I felt like I shouldn't, like reaching that stage. I felt like I'm probably like expert in that field or this field, that my manuscript should pass with no revision. That was like absolutely holding me back. I had no, but again, like I had to deal with it. I had to process it. It's not like stopping yourself from feeling a certain way, but allowing yourself to feel that feeling, deal with it, and probably like next time react differently. So having negative emotions is just part of the game.
I believe because we exert our effort, because we want to have a perfect product at the end, because we don't accept that something is wrong and we missed something. So I believe here comes the negative feelings and negative thoughts, because we want everything to be perfect.
Yes, perfectionist. Going back to perfectionist.
Yeah. And so we have some questions, Doctor.
Yeah. So
what about conclusion when I stop in methodology?
I think probably she was referring to me saying that each chapter should end with a conclusion. It should end, it's not like at the end of your thesis, there will be a chapter for conclusion, but each chapter should end with a concluding paragraph. Right, Samia?
Yes. So whenever you are done with your own methodology, you have to have a short paragraph. In that paragraph, you summarized whatever you said within your thesis, methodology chapter, and you present what will come first in the following one. So at the end, you say, in this chapter, I presented this and this, and I talked about the methodology, and so on. So in the following chapter, I'm going to talk about this, and I will tackle this and this.
Yes.
It's just a reminder for your reader of what they have read, and they can expect what's coming after. I hope this answers your question.
Yeah, so it's just like starting with an introduction, informative introduction of what this chapter is about. And then, as Samia said, a summary towards the end. Last paragraph of the chapter should be a summary of what you did in that chapter. Here I'm sharing دليل كتابة الرسائل العلمية بجامعة الملك عبد العزيز. And by the way, you can download it. Have a look at it if you're in the process of writing your thesis.
Another question is about whether research project degrees is formatting similar to the thesis. So if you're talking about the research project within your courses or the mandatory one for passing for graduation, so no, research projects and research papers are more concise. They will have different formatting. Dr. Suha can give you more detailed answer on this one. Graduation research project. Okay, you mean not thesis, but the project itself.
Well, it's always good to check with your supervisor. I believe you're assigned a supervisor for that project. So check. Sometimes departments have different guidelines, slightly different. So check the guidelines, updated guidelines within your department. And this Dalila I've shared is for all for thesis writing. It's not for smaller projects, smaller research projects.
Yeah, thank you all for your thank you and for your kind words. I hope it was informative for you and enjoyable for you as well.
Samia, if you can share if you're happy with sharing your email address, probably for further questions from the audience.
Yes. If you have any further questions, I'm going to share my email address, and feel free to email me your concerns. Okay.
Samia. I do have a question actually regarding the revision process, the editing process. It might be weird, but how long does it take? Like, should we assign 2, 3 weeks, a month for the revision and editing process, or can it be done in a shorter, let's say, time frame?
I guess it goes back. Yeah, it goes back to the feedback you received. So if you're expected to make major changes, like major revision, like received comments about like making probably certain revision that involves probably rewriting. If you're a bit behind, sometimes the emotional toll makes you slower. So it's managing your thesis and managing your emotions as well, and managing life. Life happens while you write your thesis. It's different, different from one person to another, but that's another probably aspect that you want if you're worried about like graduating in a certain time. Probably you want to discuss the timeline with your supervisor.
If may I add something here, it also depends on your needs. For instance, for me, I can write. Ask me to write, I will write. I will exceed the word limit. I have no problem in that. My problem comes within editing. It's difficult for me to edit my ideas and concise them because I believe every word, I put a lot of effort in just writing that word. It was carefully thought and everything. So I'm not happy with abandoning any of my sentences, to be honest. So it took me more time for revising and editing than actual writing. Yes, so it depends on your own style. It depends on your own needs and your whatever suits you, and also for your own responsibilities. Remember, because it requires you to have clear mind to edit. It requires you to have a clear space. Okay, so you don't squeeze editing between other many tasks you have. No, it's better to have it separately on a different day, whenever you are free, whenever you can focus fully on the task.
Yes, this is a major demanding task. So better to allocate good time for that. And that's probably the focus of this session, isn't it? It's just to to highlight the importance of giving time for revising your manuscript before submitting it. I believe we exceeded the time.
I'm so sorry for that.
No, it's not about you. I guess we started a bit late. Ms. Dua, you want to conclude?
Yes, indeed. Okay, sorry for that.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to cut and interpret. Dr. Suha, someone is asking for your email in the comments.
Yes, I'm posting it now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody who stayed until now for this session. This is a great, actually, session that's much needed for lots of people, not just for MA students or PhD students, candidates. I think even on a smaller level, let's say even in first year for first year students and so on, it's quite helpful and it's quite important to actually learn how to revise and edit your work. So it's not an easy task, of course, as you've mentioned. But I think this is a quite important, very important thing to learn about, from the beginning of your, let's say, writing journey, I guess. Thank you very much. And then, inshallah, our next workshop is going to be not next Wednesday, sorry, the following Wednesday, about fixing your writing again, but more focused on punctuation, capitalization.
On proofreading,
Yes,
and that's different from
proofreading.
editing. Yes.
Yes, yes, indeed. Okay. Thank you, everybody, and hope you all enjoy a lovely evening.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Dr. Suha. Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for all the audience.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We'll speak, inshallah, again next time.